Hey up YouTube, so the nights are drawing in, it's 6:15. It will not be long before the clocks come forward or go back, whichever one it is. And we're sort of plunged into darkness that little bit earlier. So it's definitely time to start thinking about winter, and the point of this video, or should I say videos, is that we're going to be talking about winter. So winter is the first hurdle you have to go through, even before you become self-employed. You will, as soon as you tell people you want to be self-employed, first thing they say, you know, hands down, guaranteed, is what about winter? What are you going to do about winter? And even when you are self-employed, when people find out what you do for a living, what you do in winter, it's the most commonly asked question. I've had it 3 times so far over the past couple of months. 2 of them was from customers, and 1 of them was just somebody I got talking to. So it, you know, it is very much on people's minds. I think what I'm going to start doing is asking people, especially non-customers, is what, before I tell you what I do, what do you think I do over winter? And just see, because it'll be, you know, if people say, well, I imagine you'd work, brilliant. But if they say, well, you'd go away on holiday or you have it off, well, not so brilliant, because winter is a long time. But we'll see. So it's a tricky one, winter. It really is. It's very hard sometimes as to say what's the best course of action. So what I'm going to do in these videos is show you what I'm doing and try and pass along as many tips and tricks as possible. I think first off, I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I'm going to be doing, but I think good advice is good advice. So often people, and I've done it in the past, where we focus on, well, to a degree, we focus on bringing new customers in, paying for adverts, trying different services, offering different services. Well, that's all good, but like anything, there's always, you know, reasons for, reasons against. So it's all very good, but I think don't underestimate your customer base. You've got 50, 60, 20, 30, 40, 10 people that you've worked for over the year or years, and what you want to be doing this time of the year is hitting them up, ringing them up, saying, oh, if you're doing a new service, ring every single customer up, tell them face to face, you know, when you finish their garden. You want to be using these opportunities to push your business as much as humanly possible, or as much as you can at the very least. So tell people what service you're offering, or just tell people, just say hi. You know, if you've not worked for them in a good while, say it's like a one-off sort of work, just again, hi. You know, just letting you know we've got some availability over winter. Even if their garden is a very, very basic mow and go, I often find people, they have in the back of their mind improvements, reductions, removals, you know, so they might want plants adding, or things taken away, or things reducing. So, you know, even in just simple, you know, just the most beigest of beige new build, you know, they might want improvements, they might want things doing. So, you know, it's like I've got a customer, they've just had a garden shed put in, like a garden room. They haven't run the cable for the power yet. And if I was so inclined, and the thing is, they take a while. Everything takes ages with them, but the thing is with me, I pretty much know if I said to them, oh, do you want me to dig the trench for you? You know, simple, you know, spade deep, foot deep, whatever it needs to be, and just run that cable, they would pretty much say, yeah, go on then, Sam. It's not the work that I want to be doing, but if I was on my heels, I would. And that's another thing about winter, don't be too precious. I spent a winter planting hedges. Not all winter, blimey now, no way, but it was enough to keep the wolves from the door. It was enough to keep me mentally busy and physically busy. And I spent a winter helping one of my gardening customers move house. I think I've mentioned this, that was probably one of the best things that happened early on in my business, because it gave me the work. It was a couple of hours a day due to the nature of the job. You know, she's lady disabled, so it was a couple of hours a day helping this person move house. And I looked at it, it was winter, it was pissing down, it was horrible. And I remember just thinking to myself, you know what, I'm glad I'm in the house, a warm house, than sort of scrabbling around outside trying to sort of make a living. As I said, it's not for everybody, and that's another thing. If you have got a family, dependents, bills, mortgages, you know, don't be too proud. If you need to get a job, no one cares, no one's going to judge you. You know, your gardening customers, if you need to get a job, you know, collecting trolleys, or, you know, stacking shelves, or working at Mackey's, or, you know, doing whatever, and they bump into you, they aren't going to think any different to you at all, so don't worry about it. And if they do judge you, or somebody judges you, well, you know, they're probably the person that's not willing to do what it takes for their family. Think about it like that. So, like I said, you want to be pushing your business all the time, hit up your existing customer base. So that's what I'm doing. I wrote down a great big list of people that I've done gutter work for, people I've done exterior cleaning work for, people I've done one-off work, and I'll be ringing all of them up and saying to them, oh, you know, that's spoiler, main thing I want to be doing this winter is exterior cleaning, but that's one of the things I'll be doing is, you know, ringing up, pushing exterior cleaning. Hi, I did the exterior cleaning for you a couple of years ago, would you be interested in getting it done again? Blah blah blah. Winter's coming, we did your gutters last year, I did say I'll give you a call to see if you need doing this year, blah blah blah. You know, stuff like that. Try and keep it as simple as you possibly can. It's the easiest thing to do in the long run. So every episode I'm going to tell you some of the things that I'm going to be doing that will hopefully have, you know, ramifications for this winter at the very least, but also the rest of the year. And I'm telling you this hopefully to urge you to do the same. So every single phone number from now on, and every single engagement I get from a customer, so if they ring up, the first thing I ask, or one of the first things I ask, or one of the things I will be doing, is getting their email address. Why? Because I want to do a newsletter. So I want to be adding all of my customers to something like MailChimp, existing customers, new customers. Even if they ring up and say, I get quite often people ringing up for gutter repairs, I don't list it, I don't offer it, and I don't do it. I have a chap that does it for me and I pass the details along, but I will be ringing, I will be still collecting emails and information. It's so important. I think a text email, or text, you know, message, it's a bit impersonal, I don't know, or a bit too personal, you know, because it is sort of spam, but it isn't. But I think an email, okay, I hope it doesn't all go in the spam things, but, you know, an email once or twice a year, or, you know, at the start of the season, or, you know, a few times in a year, letting people know that we're back gardening, we've got all these services that we can offer for you. You know, do it in like a nice leaflet, you know, whatever, a bit of an update about myself. People like that, people like the personal touch. Hey guys, you know, we're back gardening, just letting you know we've added this new top of the range still mower to the fleet, so your lawns will look even better this year. Or, you know, anything. If you've done a PA1 course, hey guys, you know, we're now offering spot treatment as part of the maintenance, you know, or one-off work, you know, weed and feed, anything. Because customers aren't psychic, and as much as you try and tell everyone, you will forget someone. But I love stuff that I can do when I'm sat in my boxes, you know, watching, in between watching cartoons. I love the stuff where I can type something up, hit send, done for me, and that's free. It's going to cost me very little. So that's one of the things I'll be doing. I've also put the newspaper advert back in. Remember, I've had a bit of I haven't had good luck with it this year. The reason is when I put it in at the start of the season, I was trying to attract gardening work. Now the newspaper company, they have a paper for another area and a paper for our area. but it's more primarily aimed at the other area. So the gardening inquiries that I got through were unfortunately for that other area. So that meant that the gardening work that I did pick up, it's been a case of it's a half an hour trip to do that gardening work. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, it really is. But this time around, it's primarily exterior cleaning time. So that's what I've been doing. I don't mind driving the half an hour for a nice little gutter job. Doesn't bother me at all. It's worth it for me, and I also have customers in that area. So if people do ring up, again, it's not a chore for me to get up that way. Put it that way. So that's going to be another sort of thing. I've also staggered the advert, so it's going to go in, I think, halfway through October. So it's going to be in every other week until, well, it's going to be 4 issues, so it's going to have like 8 weeks of coverage. So it's going to go for hopefully till probably the end of November, and that's the cut-off. I want to try and get, now obviously I'll be taking it week by week, but that's another thing I'm saying to customers. So this goes neatly on to the next bit. All of my regular customers have said to them that the visits will carry on as normal up until November. So I'm going to be doing fortnightly grass cuts up until the end of October. And I tell them that, you know, I don't hide it or, you know, do anything. You know, I always tell people that, even at the start of the season, if they ask. Now, I always think when you take on a new gardening customer, this is my personal take on this. I say to people, you know, if they've never had a gardener and they don't know how often grass needs to be cut, I always say to people that I only cut grass on a fortnightly basis, so they know straight away. And I'll say to the customer, I will be here every fortnight until the end of the season. Now, some customers leave it at that. They're like, yeah, it's fine, no problem. Every so often someone will say, oh, well, when is the end of the season? And I always say to them, well, traditionally it's the end of October, and it can even be into November. I always do that. The worst case scenario, well, best case for me, but worst case for them, definitely. If their face falls, you know, off their face, and they're like, what? I thought you'd be done by August. They aren't really the customer for me. But again, we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot here. Work's work at the end of the day. So if it is that, you know, you only got a regular customer up until August, well, just take them through. You know, do the garden for the season, and then if it is that, you know, sometimes they come round, sometimes they don't. But for me, it's a red flag, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not something where I'll say, no, don't want to, you know, work for you. A customer's a customer at the end of the day. 5 grass cuts, you know, 10 grass cuts, whatever, you know, it's work. Now, I never say to a customer, I've seen other gardeners that do it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with the approach. I'll never say to a customer, oh, you'll get 20 cuts, 16, 30, whatever. My personal opinion on this, it's too much information. Because if you say to a customer, right, it's going to be 25 quid a cut, 16 cuts in a year, they're going to be like, shit, that's like 400 quid or whatever. And it's just too much for, in their head, it's too much information. And you know, it's like when you have your phone contract, you know, it's easier to think of it as £50 a month, isn't it? But then at the same time, well, it's 50 times 36, shit, it's a lot of money. But to be fair, it isn't a small print, and it's there, you know. But we're not time people in either, that's another thing. They can stop when they want, you know, but probably the bad example, but a right example. Anyway, so the point is what I'm making is try and get as many visits as you can, guys. If a customer says to you, Sam, I had a customer yesterday, he says, oh, this is going to be the last one. I says, well, Mr. Such and Such, I've told everybody else that it's going to be a fortnightly cut, or at least until the end of October, because the grass hasn't slowed down. You know, another thing as well, I had another customer about 2 weeks ago. Well, couldn't be, no, probably about 4 weeks ago. It is 4 weeks, because she said to me, she texts, she says, just letting you know, we don't need to come anymore because my sister doesn't go in the garden. You know, she's disabled. She doesn't use the garden, so she, you know, we're trying to cut costs here, you know, and that's fine. I don't mind that. You know, some people might drop somebody over that. I don't mind that because they're being upfront and honest. And I says to her, I said, well, look, when I took the lawn on, it was very overgrown. I says, if I just leave the lawn from now until you know, the end of the season, to the start of the season, we're going to be back at square one. And I said, we've got on top of the lawn, it looks really nice. Can I suggest a monthly cut until at least you know, end of November? And she said, yeah, that's fine, thank you for suggesting that. So that took a situation where, you know, you could think, oh, bad customer, fly off your handle and say, you know, whatever, to I've got a monthly cut, and I can deal with that. That monthly cut at the same price doesn't bother me at all, because like I said, it was very long at the beginning and the grass hasn't really, it's recovered, but it's never been a fast growing lawn. So the thought of taking a month's worth of grass off doesn't worry me at all. I'm fine with that. I wouldn't want to do that next year, but this year, these last 2 visits, I'm fine with that. So like I said, you know, sometimes you have to, you know, barter, do the deal, you know, whatever you need to do. It's all about getting the visits in. So I think I'm going to wrap that video up now, guys. I'll give you some, hopefully, tips and tricks. Another thing that I've not mentioned is my workload. I want to be doing, I always say to myself every winter, I want to earn half of what I earn in a good month, you know, or the season, should I say, on average. Not the best month, but on average. And that's the goal for this, through a mix of existing garden maintenance and also, you know, one-off if it comes in, and also, like I said, you know, exterior cleaning work. That's the real aim for this business, because what exterior cleaning work I'll be picking up this year, I will be looking at either repeating that next year or the year after. And again, data collection is very important. Taking the details, taking the contact number, and again, getting it booked up for next season. That's going to be the real sort of thing. Remember, this advert's costing me £400, well, 387, and I want to, you can trust me on this, I want to get the bloody, I want to work the bollocks off this advert. Even if I get dead-end inquiries, you know, gutter repairs, whatever, jobs that I can't do, whatever, I'll be taking that number and trust me on this, I will be adding them to a mailing list. And you might think, well, why? Well, these customers have shown engagement. These customers have shown willingness to call you up as a gardener or seek out a gardener. So for me, they're good customers. You know, they're potential customers. They've made the leap. They've made the choice. They've, you know, they've said to themselves or whatever, they want a professional gardener, not that they're just after somebody or they're after an exterior cleaner. They've shown interest. So yeah, even that. Can I have your email address while I'm here? You know. And if you ask why, yeah, that's no problem. I drop a quarterly email just updating you on the services that I offer, and you never know, maybe if you can't help you now, in the future I will. So it's simple. Well, hopefully it will be. So this video will be up. I will do another one probably the end of December, because I'm hoping to have got the exterior cleaning wrapped up by then, and then I'll talk about what's happened, what's going to be happening. And then I'll probably do another update video end of February, but I'll do other videos as well, trust me on that. Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.